Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare podcast. This show is sponsored by Kits Keep In Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals. Along with REM, Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of my book, The Ultimate Marketing Bundle, as well as learn more about our one-to-one coaching and keynote speaking. Today's episode is number 241. The content game is intense with third-party restrictions, new privacy laws, growing competition, and of course, AI. So what's the answer to generating more leads? Well, it's nothing less than fresh, original, and engaging content. But who's got time to create content, much less launch it across every platform in the appropriate format? The answer? A customer-focused, tactical, and technology-driven plan for radical content creation. He has been killing it at search engine optimization before the term was even invented. Using a unique method of blending storytelling with search keywords for more than 15 years, he has ranked regional and national brands in the US on page 1 of Google. This Superman CEO of a video marketing agency has been featured on many renowned platforms, including Traffic and Conversion Summit, Digital Marketer Blog, Fox Digital Journals, The Times, and USA Today. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare podcast is the content Superman, Atiba de Souza. Atiba, welcome to the Mindshare podcast.
David, yo, what's up, buddy? I'm so happy to be here with you. One of the things I know, because every time we get together, we have a blast.
Yeah,
so,
man.
I'm in it, and I should have thought about pulling up some pictures from our last time for the audience. The brisket.
Oh my God, man. I was about to say, just to set the stage for everybody right now, just to hit home and serious, this is a serious point, but to hit home on how important relationships are, and not to mention, you never know who you're going to meet. You and I were back in Dallas, Texas. We were both at an event that we were attending, and fast forward towards the end of the whole thing, I was like, wait a second. I can't leave Texas without some proper Texas BBQ.
Yes.
Well, Superman doing Superman things, you came to my rescue. And we went out for some wicked barbecue that evening, got to know each other. Seriously, the conversation was amazing. Obviously, you and I have kept in touch ever since. And, I guess what I'm trying to hit home here for everybody that's tuned in is that's the power of relationships, right? Is that you don't know who you're going to meet. It may take a few days before you because I don't know that you and I made a ton of conversation on even day one of the event.
I don't think so. No.
But then once we started talking, it's we just hit it off and just kept talking. And then it was let's go for barbecue. And that's where I was about to say today, as you were we should pull up some pictures. I'm today we're on a time limit. See, because that night we just kept going for the food and going for the food. But seriously, man, honored to have met you. Honored to have you join us on the show today. And I even remember that the combo actually kicked off based on a presentation that we had seen earlier that day about a particular individual who was presenting on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned, you said, look, there was some good stuff there.
Yep.
But I see it differently.
Yep.
I got a different approach to this. And you've been doing it a long time. And I mean, I think that you and I kicked right off on conversation with that one.
Yes. No, absolutely. And just to even touch on that, to bring everybody up to speed of where we were there. And it wasn't even that we were bashing anyone, right?
Because no.
You can go on YouTube and decide that, I'm going to go and create content and get lots of views and try to go viral and make money off of YouTube. Well, you can do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a business model, but I'm not sure that's why you actually got into business. And if it's not why you got into business, getting tons of views that don't drive your actual business goals are useless. And that was a conversation that you and I had about how do we get views that actually drive the needle and dump cash into the bank account.
That's only what everybody wants. And I'm with you on that. I even said that to somebody the other day. I said, or maybe I put it on a post, but You're better off spending 30 minutes making phone calls than 30 minutes making a video. Now I'll back that up because that's a loaded statement. If you're going to spend 30 minutes making a video, to what you said, that's not going to put cash in the bank.
Right.
And I'll tell you the fastest way to put cash in the bank is to have the conversation, because that's where you and I hit it off, as we just had a conversation, right? From there now, it's how do I figure out how to actually make this stuff work for me? So I'm going to take us down this road, right? Because what
let's go.
Was we kind of titled the show "How to Leverage Video Content and AI to Rank on Page One of Google." Now, I fully understand where we're going with this, just based on, again, learning from you and having multiple conversations with you. But I guess if I set the stage, number one, we talked in your bio about you've helped a lot of brands get on page one.
Yes.
How do we rank on page one of Google? And maybe, again, high level, where does video and AI come into all of this?
Yeah, it's a really great question, David. And it's funny because it's one that people have been asking for a very, very long time. And most people will tell you it depends, or they will tell you the patented line of create great content. So if you're listening to us and you've heard one of those two things, that's not an answer I'm about to give you.
All right, cool.
Okay. So I want to just dispel that up front, because those answers don't actually help you.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And so here's what we learned way back in 2006 into 2007. In 2006, 2007, we realized that Google was having a problem. And their problem was marketers, spammers, were figuring out how to game the algorithm to get their content, which wasn't necessarily always relevant, to the top of search on page one. In other words, master SEO.
Mm-hmm.
Google's problem with that was the content wasn't that relevant. Okay. Now, what does Google want? What is their entire mission? Their entire mission is to, when you type in something, to return a result to you that gives you the answer quickly. That's what they want to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we know that that's what they want to do, now we see the problem they were having in 2006, 2007, with all of these people who were gaming the system to put content that really wasn't that relevant at the top of page one. So Google at that point said, we got to fix this. And they started changing their algorithm, and they're still modifying it every single day and getting it to the point where relevant information is at the top of page one. So what does that mean, relevance? Because I said I'm not going to give you, that's not the answer.
Right.
That's not the answer. The answer lies in, what did the user type in? You see, Google's the largest search intent database in the world. Forget the number one website and all those that stuff. That's all great. It's the largest search intent. In other words, people go there for a purpose. They type stuff in because they want to know something. They want to be able to take some action off of what they received from what they typed in. So your content, the content that needs to end up on page one, the content that Google wants to end up on page one, is the content that's going to answer that question that the user typed in. Understand?
I remember we talked about that. We talked about blue jacket, right? Just because one of us, it was either you, me, or your colleague there that was with us that night, blue jacket. And we were very specific on how you have to leverage that, because that might have been the question of like, tell me more about blue jackets.
That's what they want.
Right.
And so if someone says, where can I buy a blue jacket? And the answer that comes up is everything about red jackets or red hats, blue hats, that's not relevant to them.
Right.
Right. And so that's the.
Ha! Look at that. He froze. See, normally I'm the one that freezes.
Oh, I froze?
Oh, there you go. You're back. There you are.
You see, they're trying to stop you from hearing this answer.
Yeah.
They're going to get this answer to you. They can't hold us down, David. We will not be held down.
That's good, bro.
All right. So the key to getting to page one is figuring out exactly what your customers are searching for, and then creating content that answers that exact thing. Now,
okay,
that's the base.
Yeah,
that's the bedrock that we build everything on.
Now, hold on. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
As we stay there for a second. And maybe you're going to tell me wait on this, but I was going to say to you, because when you bring up about Google and we're talking video, just to kind of lump in there, when it comes to YouTube, what is the most important thing everybody needs to understand about YouTube?
Oh,
am I going too far right now, or does that kind of play into
not
this
yet?
part?
So let me wrap that in right now.
You know where I'm at, right?
So so now that's where we were in 2006, 2007 through 2020 with written content. Now let's start to look at 2020s and beyond, and the future of marketing, which is 100% in video. Why is it 100% in video? Well, it was going there anyway, but then something happened in 2020. I forget what it was right now that affected the entire world.
In 2020.
I don't remember. I think it started with a C.
Can't put my finger on it, but anyway.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. Everyone on the entire planet had a choice because they all were sitting at home and they said, I'm going to consume content while I'm here. I got nothing else to do. And they had a choice. I could either read or I can watch. And this entire planet chose to watch. This entire planet chose video.
Yep.
And because of that choice, it sped up the reality that was coming anyway, that video was the future of marketing. So now here we are in 2023. Now we take our bedrock, okay? And we say, okay, we know our future is in video because that was going to be the future of marketing. That's how people want to consume. And a ton more reasons, which we can get into. But we got to create video. And we say, okay, now how does that work with Google? And where do we put the video? And how does this all fit together? And here's how it all fits together, David. It fits together because in 2021, the end of 2021, Google started reprioritizing its database and saying, hey, you know what? We got all these search terms. People want video. We want to show more videos for more search terms. We want to put more videos on page one because that's what people want to consume. And then Google said, and figuratively, where are we going to get this video from? Well, we happen to own this little platform called YouTube. And so they want to take their YouTube videos and put them on page one. That's what they want to do. But here's the problem. You would think there's so much content on YouTube, and I'm covering something that you're probably thinking out there listening to us right now. Somebody already talked about my topic. There is so much content on YouTube. However, not all of it's great. Not all of it's good. Not all of it even viable. Google knows this, and Google doesn't want to rank it on page one, but it wants video on page one. That's why you have an opportunity today.
Now, on that front, as we get into that opportunity, right? One of the things that I would look at, and you just nailed it, there is so much video out there that now I question, I go, well, why me? Why is somebody going to watch my video? What about my video is going to pull them in? I mean, I can go find, a million videos on the exact same topic from a million different people. So why me, and why should I even bother? Now, I say to people all the time, I'm like, somebody, this is your vibe attracts your tribe. This is that whole thing of somebody's going to stumble upon something you're saying. You're going to jive with that person in the way they need it versus the other million people that they watch or could potentially watch. And that's why you understanding to be confident in who you are and confident in what you know and be able to put that out there and not worrying about what people say or what people are going to think or whether you're absolutely right or whether it's totally perfect, because there is no such thing as perfect. If we're saying, okay, fine, I'm with you. I get this Google thing. I understand about getting the first page. We need to have some video content on there. I need to be very, very specific on what I'm doing. What would be the first starting point then? Is it just literally go open up a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
If I don't have one already?
So number one, if you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Welcome. Right?
Just like that, right?
You had it, you didn't even know. It's that simple.
It's that simple. Perfect.
But where you start? It's a very great question.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I actually teach a 3-hour workshop on this, and I want to break it down for you in 30 seconds. Y'all ready for this?
Give us the Coles notes, because again, I know there's a lot more detail and a lot more substance there, and people should tune in and figure that out from you as well.
But here's how simple it is, y'all. You've got a client, you've got customers already, right? You're in the real estate space. You've got customers who have bought from you. You're some other business. You've got customers who've already bought from you. When those customers reached out to you, at some point in time, they've asked you questions. I guarantee it, because that's what all customers do.
Yep.
They've asked you questions. And if you've been doing it for longer than a month, you've heard the same question multiple times.
Oh, these days it's all about what's going on with the rates.
Yes, exactly.
Now here, I'll tell you this. I got a comment from somebody the other day that text messaged me because I checked in with them. How's it going? How's things? What's happening out there? I do that with our coaching clients all the time, right? We actually do hold people accountable. We don't just put that in our marketing.
Yeah.
And as we're talking, he goes, Dave, like, I am so bored of the same old conversation about rates.
Yes.
And I said, I get it, but you're educating people right now, and you're building positive mindshare, and people are going to remember you for that. So that down the road, when it is time to go, maybe I am going to buy or I'm going to sell, they're going to go back to the person that was educating the whole way through. So as monotonous as that conversation is right now, one, have the conversation with your clients, but two, you're obviously going to tell us to turn that into content.
I'm going to tell you to turn that into content. Absolutely. So they're asking you questions.
Yep.
Turn that into content. Here's how you do it. It's real simple, y'all. You got one of these sitting in your pocket right now. Maybe you're even watching us on one of these right now. This little sucker is everything you need. On here, there's an app. You're probably not familiar with the app. The app is called a camera.
Yeah. Hold on. I got to write that one down. What was that?
Yeah, write that down. Write that down. Okay. There's an app on here, the camera app. That camera app has an option to shoot video. Yeah. So open the app, turn on that option to shoot video, hold it sideways. Y'all see me? Hold it sideways, put it in front of your face. You know that question that people are asking you. Look at yourself on the screen, press record, answer the question. Answer the question just like you would if a prospect was sitting in front of you asking the question right now. Now, here's what gets really important, David, because this is the part that most people miss. And I've seen this so many times. There's so many people who say, okay, I've created a ton of content, but it does nothing if it stays here. Right. So the moment that you stop and you stop that recording, you go to that app called YouTube that's already on your device. Open that app. When you open the YouTube app, and let me see if I can even pull it up and show you here while we're on here. You open up the YouTube app, okay? I don't know if y'all can see this, but down in the bottom middle here, there's a circle with a plus sign. You're going to press that circle with the plus sign, and a menu is going to come up, and it's going to say upload video. You're going to click on upload video, and as soon as you do that, it will show you the video you just created. You're going to select that video. You're going to give it a title. The title is going to be the question that you just answered. And you're going to press upload. And my friends, welcome to video marketing.
Okay, listen. It's really easy for us to say, and I know from the day that I met you, you were walking around with an actual camera, like your phone. I think it was your phone, and a mic. Yeah, that's right. And a mic. And you were interviewing people.
Yep.
So there was two things that came to mind there. I want to come back to what you said a moment ago about posting up that content. We actually have a question in our VIP chat.
Oh, cool.
Here in our studio, but I'm gonna table that for a minute and say, so you just said, hey, open up the video or the camera with the video on your phone and just start recording.
Yeah. Give
us some quick tips for anybody who's worried or shy about getting on camera.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them of how do they get comfortable on video? And then I'll double down on this one, Atiba, and say, not only how do they get comfortable on video, but you've literally had random people, and I've watched it. It wasn't even just at the event that you and I met at, but I've seen you do this with other people. You just literally get random people to get on video.
I do.
How do you do that? So how do you, how would you suggest people get comfortable? And how do you get somebody else comfortable that you're about to actually put on video?
Yeah. So there are a couple of things there, David. And you have to kind of know yourself. Okay.
Because, hey, my makeup's not done. My hair doesn't look good. I'm not having a good day. I feel tired. I don't know if I'm dressed right. The background isn't right. I got excuses after excuses after excuses, even though I'm not admitting the excuses.
Yes. And I'm going to deal with all of those. Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
For those of you listening to us right now, When someone walks into your office, calls you on the phone, is on a Zoom call with you, and they ask you a question, do you put them on pause and go in the bathroom and check your makeup? Do you go run a couple laps to try to lose a couple pounds real quick because you're a little too heavy to answer the question right now? Do you say, you know what? My lighting isn't right now. Hold on. Let me turn on some lights before I answer your question. Do you do any of those things? I guarantee the answer is no. It's. I know I'm being facetious here, but the answer is no. And the thing here is understanding it is the exact same. I get this the anxiety because, oh my gosh, there's a camera. But the thought that you need to have and the reality that you need to have is you're talking to one person. Imagine that prospect on the other side. So there are two ways that you get there. There's some of us who can say, okay, I can put myself in a space and imagine that there is someone on the other side of the camera and I'm just going to talk to them. That works for some of you and you would feel really comfortable with that. The other side is there's some people who's like, no, I'm the one here. There's no one else here and I'm holding the camera. I'm not comfortable. Get someone else in the room with you. Get your spouse, get your child, get a neighbor, get a coworker to hold the camera, ask you the question, and then just answer it.
This way, there's somebody else there that's actually there.
Yes.
You know, I'll tell you something. I have found that is incredibly helpful. Like, look, we've done so much video that we can stare at a lens and pretend it's somebody else and actually sit there staring, talking to the lens, having the conversation, doing what has to be done. But again, we've done it a lot, right? There's a lot of other people that cannot do it. And I know when I'm with my content team, they've got the cameras, they got everything. I'm like, yo, just throw me questions. Just have conversation with me and record what's coming out. Yeah. And that's where the most natural stuff comes from. The other thing I'll say too is, you know, just to back up what you're saying about getting comfortable and just literally have it there. And if you know, when you say not being facetious, I've said the same thing. And I'll say to everybody right now, if you got up today, you got yourself dressed, whether you put on makeup or you don't, or you put on a hat or you don't, you looked yourself in the mirror and you thought to yourself, yeah, I'm ready to walk out the house. And then you had the nerve to walk out the house. You can get on camera.
That's right.
Right?
That's all it takes. And the challenge and where we have anxiety is because we all have these big boxes in our houses called TVs.
Yeah.
And especially for those of us who are a little bit more seasoned, we're used to watching the news, right? And
stay away from that stuff. That's bad.
And
just bad for you.
It's bad for you, but the thing that it did was it showed us a false reality of what it's like to be on camera.
Yes.
Right? They were overly made up. They were overly scripted. It was overly perfect. It had to be just right. We watch movies that are just right. And so we think that that's what we have to produce. But what we miss, and this now, why video, and I said we're going to come back to this a little bit later. So here we are right now. Why video is the future of marketing is because what people want now more than anything else is to connect with you on a human-to-human level. They want to feel you. They want to know you. They want to understand you. And nothing does that like video. You're watching me on video right now, and you can tell, am I bored right now? Am I excited right now? You can tell. If I got angry with something David said, you would know.
Yeah. It gives context. I was talking about this the other day. When you talk about, and look, this goes for anything we do, right? If you know the person really, really well, you can send a quick text that has no, hi, how are you today? Right. I hope you're having a nice day. It's a quick, yo, you good? Or, hey, man, give me a shout. Or, hey, 1 p.m. work? Yeah, man, done. That said, when you're going to start to get into contracts and like actual back and forth with a client or with a supplier, a colleague in business.
Absolutely.
You got to watch because any text message or email has zero context. There's no context. There's no expression. I can't tell if you're yelling. I can't tell if you're laughing. I can't tell if you're mad, like you just said. Video gives us all of that. And now there's context of the conversation.
Yes. And that is what allows people to connect with you. You see, and what our clients tell us is people now call them and they feel like they know them. They feel like they're friends. Well, you see, that's super important because people want to do business with people that they know, like, and most importantly, trust.
Right.
And so if new people that you've never met are calling you like your friends and they feel like they already trust you, they already have that relationship with you because of your video, that's the power, my friends. That's the power.
So Atiba, tell me this then. We've got a VIP room here. We take questions from our VIP room. These are, just our mindshare masters. Question here, which was great, was as we talk about getting on the first page of Google and, leveraging the title of our video, maybe to answer the question that was put out there.
Yes.
So the question here is, how do you figure out what the searchers are searching in your local area?
Yeah.
And his question is obviously going and geared towards, I want to create content that these people are already looking for.
Yeah. It's a great question. So where I started you just now, when I gave you the 30 seconds of a 3-hour course, was take a question that you're already getting, shoot a video about it, post it. That gets you started. Where do we go from here? Okay. Where do we go from here? And that's where your question, that's the crux of your question that you're asking me. So I'm going to tell you, here's where you go from here. You take even that question, you take even some keywords. And so this is the exercise that we have people to go through. I'm going to tell you, okay, what industry are you in? What do you sell? And where are you? Put that together, make a keyword, stick that into Google and do a search. Once you do that search, Google, about a third of the way down the page, is going to give you a section called People Also Asked. These are real questions that real people typed into Google that are related to the terms you put in. Take that section, take those questions that are there, go through them, and see which ones are relevant to your industry and your ideal customer, and then create videos about those. And then the title becomes the exact question from People Also Asked.
Sneaky, but I guess strategic, effective, and makes a lot of sense. So let me repeat this back, okay? In order to create content that people are actually going to pay attention to, that people are actually looking for, that are probably the people that I'm looking for, I want to go in and start to type in a question to Google that is probably around the type of question that's been asked to me a whole bunch of times before or recently. I want to create content around that question, create an answer to that through video. But then I also want to look at the next part, about a third of the way down. This is People Also Asked About. And then look at those questions and create content with the answers to those questions. Now I'm going to put in my subject or my title of my video. I'm going to basically put that question. And do I do it as a question, Atiba? Got it.
So to give you a real life example.
Come back to the Blue Jackets. Only
Well,
because I brought it up off the top, and people are probably like, "What the is he talking about?"
Well, I was going to go to real estate, but if you
okay, do that. Our audience loves that. Forget it.
Okay.
Guys, just so everybody understands the Blue Jacket thing. One of us was wearing a blue jacket that night. We leveraged Blue Jackets as the topic for the video. Done. That's it. Don't make it more complicated. Okay, go. Take it back to real estate for us, please.
So, condo communities, Mississauga.
Look at this guy. Where are you located right now?
I'm in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there, showing his love for Canada.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. Best school districts, Etobicoke.
Look at you.
All right.
I know we've got people watching this right now in Etobicoke.
I'm sure. And y'all, I love y'all in Etobicoke, by the way. Love Etobicoke, straight up. Like real talk. Real talk. Okay. One of my favorite places to be. But seriously though, you put those, that's what I'm saying about, you put those types of keywords into Google. Just those 3 words. Hit enter, and it's going to tell you what questions people have asked. Now, I have had instance where people have done that and said, yeah, but none of the people also asked really were that relevant to me. Okay, no problem. scroll all the way down to the bottom, and especially if you're on your computer, it should still do this. Get down to the end of page 1, and at the bottom of page 1 is related keywords. And so Google then will tell you, okay, the words you chose here, here's some other words that mean about the same that you might get better results in. Go to check the related keywords and go do their people also asked. Okay?
And then got more content.
Then I'm going to give y'all this. Y'all come here, because I'm not going to give it to everybody. Y'all lean in. Come on in here. There is a plugin called Keywords Everywhere.
Got it right here on my browser.
Keywords Everywhere. Go get that plugin because it will aggregate all of this in a sidebar for you in every single search, making your job and your life that much easier.
It speeds up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, okay. So with that then, and that, I mean, I don't know. I get it. I think you're very clear about that. To reiterate that again for everybody, take the conversations you've been having with clients, the questions they've been asking you, the most random stuff in the world.
Yeah.
Things that you don't think may be that relevant. 1, create an answer to that through video. Put that out as content.
Yep.
2, go take that, throw it into Google and see what else Google spits up for related type of searches. 3, get the Keywords Everywhere plugin, put it into your browser, and that'll simplify and speed up the process of figuring out what those other keywords may be.
Yes.
And use those keywords to plug into the title of your video and that you've created content around the answer for that.
Yes.
There's your content strategy.
There's your content strategy. Now, it leads us to a really big question.
Well, okay. Go for it.
That really big question is, okay, how long is it going to take?
Okay, cool. Because I was about to say, like, how do you make sure it's actually getting seen on YouTube? So start with how long is it going to take? Do that first, yeah.
And how long is it going to take to rank on page 1?
Right.
This, unfortunately, is a question that I'm going to have to give you, and it depends. And I hate it depends answers. But let me tell you what it depends on.
Well, you don't control Google or YouTube. And if you could tell me about that, because I'd love to know.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not that
all right.
All right. I don't got that many.
I leaned that way to it, but I figured if it was, it would have been cool to find out.
So if I'm the Superman, that's the kryptonite. But here's the deal, though. Here's what you need to look at.
Yeah.
You need to look at how much competition there is in your local area if you're doing localized content. Okay. So, for example, if there are a ton of realtors in Etobicoke creating video content right now, then great. Don't create content to answer questions that they've already answered yet if you're just starting.
I'm going to throw it out there and say, yes, there's going to be a lot of people doing it.
You're going to say this.
What you just said of don't create that, how would I figure out what they've done? Do I go to their Instas, their socials, their website and figure out just what they've done?
It's so much easier than that.
Oh, okay. Give it to us.
So number 1, it would either show up on page 1 of Google.
Yep.
Or number 2, Google has a video tab.
Got you.
Here's a little secret. Y'all come on in for this one. David, I know. See, he had keywords everywhere, right?
Yeah.
My last one, I know he doesn't have this one.
Let's see.
So come on in here because this is something that we have figured out.
I'm in.
When you're creating that video content and you go to the video tab and you're looking at what videos are there, look at where the videos are hosted. If the first few videos are not hosted on YouTube, it means there isn't good content on YouTube about this topic.
Got you.
It doesn't matter how much content is there. Google does not think it's good.
What if there is a lot on YouTube? Then are you looking to see, is there some on Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or whatever?
Don't worry about Instagram and TikTok.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Only care about YouTube right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. If you go to that page and to the video tab and you see, oh man, this is all YouTube videos here, then here's what it tells you. It tells you that Google does want video for this content. They do want to pull it from YouTube, but they don't think what's there is good enough to rank on page 1. So you have a choice. You can go, which is what we do. for our clients is we're going to go through in those instances and we're going to look at what content was covered in each of those videos and what was missing. Because clearly Google is saying this isn't bad, but it's not good enough to be on page one.
Got it.
So we're going to ask the question, what's missing? And try to create a video that has what's missing so that we can end up on page one. Now, again, that's where the it depends comes in, because it is a bit of a guessing game there, because we don't know what Google's looking for necessarily to put it on page one, because they didn't put all this other stuff. We know what we think.
Right.
The best videos to do, though, are the ones where you have a topic and you go to, either there's nothing on page one, or you go to the video tab and you see Daily Motion or somebody's blog and they don't have YouTube video listed. Because what Google is saying is we're looking for video and we can't use any of our own properties and we got to go serve it from somewhere else. And believe me, there's no restaurant, there's no bakery that wants to buy bread from another bakery. It doesn't exist. And so Google, who owns YouTube, doesn't want to serve video from someone else if they have it themselves.
Right.
So that's the video you want to create. So if you're in a saturated market where a lot of people are creating videos, you want to find those topics where you can see Google's not serving a video from its own property. This is a valid question. Let me go answer it. Let me go give Google on YouTube the answer that it wants so that I can win here.
All right. We come up with a content strategy. I've gotten comfortable video. I'm starting to put videos out there on YouTube, and I'm leveraging YouTube because I'm listening to you, I'm learning from you, and I'm understanding that YouTube is the place I got to put video because Google wants to pull from YouTube before it pulls from anything else. That's one of the things that people just need to understand.
Yeah.
Next to that then says there is so much more to winning the YouTube game than just putting out content. Right?
Yes, there is.
There are different, and this was where our conversation that night got a lot deeper. You've got to understand to have the proper title for your video. Yeah. You've got to understand to have the proper tags for your video. You've got to have a strong thumbnail for your video.
Yes.
There's metadata in the background that has to happen.
There's so much.
Let's go deeper, because one of the things that we were hearing about there was, if you got the right title and a thumbnail, you're good. And this is, again, I just come back to this blue jacket story just so that people don't sound confused. But we talked about leveraging the word or the blue jacket, those words in the title.
Yep.
In the tags, in the description, right?
And in the video.
Give us more. Give us more to that. You'll explain it way better than I will. But the point is, it's more than just the content. Now there's how do we upload the video properly so we're actually getting seen, and then we're being able to rank.
So I want to be very clear about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone who's listening to me right now, everything that I'm about to say, do not consider until you've done 10 videos.
Okay.
Get your first 10 videos done and then start to consider this stuff. Okay. Here's why. I don't want you overwhelming yourself. I don't want you putting more barriers in the way to say, oh, well, Atiba said I had to do this, so I can't upload yet. No. Shoot it on your phone, upload. Okay.
Done.
So
that's simple. Shoot the video, upload it, go.
Okay. So
done.
Now we've gotten past our first set of videos, and now we want to start talking about optimizing and how do we optimize. And there's certain things that we need to look at when we want to optimize. The first thing is the title. Yes. And so we've already started talking about that. The title needs to be your question. That's what's going to help you rank on Google. Now, it doesn't always help you rank on YouTube there. And there's balance that needs to happen. So the question needs to be in the title, number one. Number two, there are tools like TubeBuddy that you can get that will help you write great titles for YouTube. The balance here is it sometimes wants to take the question out and change the question around because it goes for, I don't want to call it clickbaity, but more salacious.
Okay.
Right? To make people want to click on it. Resist the urge. Find balance between the two, but the question has to stay. You can add, but the question has to be there. Okay, so that's number one. That's your title. Well, let me also do this because so many of you are in real estate and local. In your title, also put the community that you're serving. So if you're talking
Real
about
estate in
Mississauga,
Etobicoke.
yes,
Real estate market rates in Etobicoke.
put that in. If it's even a subsection of a Etobicoke that you're talking about, put that in. Okay?
In the title.
In the title.
Okay.
Okay? All that is great. Okay? So that's your title. That's number one. Number two is your description. Rules on the description. Number one rule in the description is this: the question must be repeated in the first two sentences of your description. It must.
Okay, so how is the market, the real estate market in Etobicoke? Question mark is the title.
Yeah.
The description. How is the real estate market in Etobicoke?
Yeah, just
question mark again. People keep asking how the real estate market in Etobicoke is.
Yep.
Period. And then describe.
Yep. So that's your first two sentences.
Love that.
Okay. Last year, YouTube lengthened how much we can write in a description. Our rule is this: minimum of 800 words. Yeah, we write a mini blog in there, y'all.
Oh, really?
Now, that 800 words includes your description and then any of the contact information or anything else that you put at the bottom, standard on your YouTube, any links and that type of thing. All of that counts in there towards the 800 words. Okay. Here's the deal. There are a lot of people who will tell you to write the description and make it enticing so that when someone reads the description, they want to watch the video. But let me ask you a realistic question. When was the last time you went to YouTube and read the description before you watched the video?
No.
In all my years, I've only ever met one person who does that. One.
So we're really doing it just to feed the data in the background so that the algorithms pick it up.
Exactly. So you're going to write the description where you're going to repeat your keywords. You're going to rephrase your sentence, your statements. You're going to talk about everything that you talked about in the video. If you were 5 points in the video, put them all in there. Put it all in there. Okay. Additionally, you want to make sure you put your chapters. Chapters are super important in your description. And chapters are one of the most misunderstood and simplest things in YouTube to do. Because in the description, all it takes to do a chapter is to put the starting time, right? So minute, colon, seconds, dash, ending time, minute, colon, seconds, space, the name of the chapter. That's it. That's all it takes. But it confuses so many people. And it's that simple. Now, what should your chapter titles be? Guess what? They should be sub-questions to your main question.
Which you probably found when you did the proper searching.
And so that's the exact answer, right? Those questions came from where? The people also asked section when you search for the main question.
Right.
Boom.
Now you're answering that question in every way which possible. You're giving people a ton of content. You're giving them a ton of learning. You are also giving Google and YouTube exactly what they want to be able to take your video and rank it.
Yes. Now,
what about the metadata?
Now, I was about to go there. Talking about the hashtag specifically. This is one of the most frustrating things with YouTube and Google in general. Okay. So YouTube has come out and said that they've deprecated the use of hashtags and they're no longer important and you don't need to use them. However, we can still add them in. And if you ever go look at your YouTube analytics, inside of the advanced analytics, one of the things that they report on is hashtag pages. Right? Okay. And so it's kind of like, did you really deprecate it or not? We don't know. So what we tell you is add the hashtags. It doesn't hurt you. We're not sure it helps, but it doesn't hurt. Okay? So that takes care of your description.
Yeah.
Now, from your description,
so you're saying yes, use hashtags in the description?
Yes, use hashtags. Okay. Yes, use hashtags.
And like literally hashtag blue jacket, hashtag real estate. Okay.
Yes. Hashtag condos in Etobicoke. Hashtag, go crazy with it.
Is that different than the tags that YouTube gives us in the separate section there?
Same thing.
All right.
They function the same.
Okay. Do I have to use the tag section then if I put the hashtags?
This is a great question, and we've never tested the difference.
Okay.
We'll test that and I'll let you know.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing from your description, the next most important thing that you have to do is you must transcribe your video. You must transcribe your video.
Right.
Now, for some of you who are savvy out there and are already using YouTube, you'll say, YouTube has a button, auto transcribe. Check. I got you, Atiba. Don't you dare press that. Don't you do it. Here's why. The YouTube auto transcribe is about 60 to 70% accurate. Guess what you don't get to do? Decide which 30 to 40% it gets wrong.
Got it.
Suppose it doesn't understand the way you say Etobicoke. And it starts to think you're talking about Coca-Cola. I've seen that actually.
Yeah.
Etobicoke to Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Etobicoke, now your video is all about Coca-Cola to YouTube and to Google. And you're wondering why you can't rank because it thinks you're talking about Coca-Cola. So you must transcribe your video yourself. You can upload the transcript. The tool that you need to do that is Descript. There are tons out there. Descript is by far the best. By far the best. Okay. Won't go into all of its greatness right now. We can spend an entire hour on that.
Yeah, no, not today.
And so Descript will give you the transcript. You upload the transcript with the video. Okay. So that's the next thing.
Yep.
And then the last thing, which really is something that you have to think about when you're shooting the video, is
thumbnail?
I did forget the thumbnail. I totally forgot the thumbnail. So I'll come back to the thumbnail. Thumbnail will be my last. Is this. If you're talking about condos in Etobicoke, you've got to talk about condos in Etobicoke.
Right.
Like you got to say those terms.
Say them in the video.
You got to, question that you're answering, you have to repeat the question multiple times in the video. Okay. Now let's talk about thumbnails. There is no right answer about the best way to create a thumbnail because every thumbnail design depends upon the industry and the client that you're serving. Okay.
So how do you figure out what's right or wrong?
So unfortunately, it takes trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
That trial and error can be somewhat shortcutted by looking at other people in your industry and what they've done and the thumbnails that they've created previously and the videos that have done well. Now, here's why that's misleading. It's misleading because you don't know why the video did well. You just know, it got a lot of views or it has a lot of comments, but you don't totally know. So they may have mastered all of the SEO stuff, and that's why their video did really well. Their video may have done well because they hit a trending topic. Their video may have done well because they were on stage and talked about it, and everyone went and watched that video. So this is where it's a little bit tricky, okay? Because there's a metric that tells you whether your thumbnail is effective or not, and that is the click-through rate percentage. That is the metric.
Use click-through to see if people are actually clicking on based on that thumbnail. That would be more about the thumbnail than about the title of the video.
Yes, because they're clicking on the thumbnail. That's what's attracting them. And you want, across the board, 6% is the baseline of a click-through rate.
Okay. So 6% baseline.
Okay.
Now, one of our mindshare masters asked a question about for ranking.
Yeah.
Is the subject line more important than having the business name in your profile? Does the business name help with the ranking at all? Does the profile name have any weight in the ranking, like realtor versus real estate agent or brokerage? Does that hold weight?
No. Because what ends up happening is the algorithms look at the body of work that you're creating. Okay.
Okay.
And it knows that the mindshare podcast, is dedicated to realtors.
Right.
Because it looks at the body of work.
Okay, got it. So it's the body of work that it's looking at.
Right. And so that's where versus the title per se. And again, that's also unscientific, y'all. Okay. Because we've done tons and tons of searches and studies to try to figure this exact thing out and find, the shameless geek ranks really well. And I'm just making that up. I think get the one exactly, but or some of them, but ranks really well on AI, which is the topic we still need to talk about.
Well, I wanted to get into that in just a moment. Yeah.
But then you're like, but their title says nothing or their name says nothing about AI. And it's because they look at the body of work.
Okay. So speaking of AI, and just before we get into AI, I want to summarize this YouTube part of things here.
Yeah.
In order to have a YouTube channel that's actually going to do something, or a YouTube video that's actually going to rank on Google, that's going to rank on YouTube, we need to answer a question that people are actually asking.
Yes.
We then need to take the answer to that and use that as the title, the headline for that video.
Yeah.
From there, we need to include that title, those keywords, in the first 2 sentences of the description that we put in for the video.
Yes.
We always need a description, and the description needs to be a minimum of 800 words.
That's our standard.
It's a standard. We should have hashtags in there, use them no matter what people say.
Yep.
The hashtags work. And we should also be leveraging chapters by putting a start time and a stop time, and then putting the chapter title. And that title really should wrap around synonyms or synonymous questions for the keywords that we've already used in the headline and in the description of what we're putting in that video.
Yep.
In the video, we need to make sure that we're actually saying that title so that people understand that that video is about the question that's being asked. The answer is right there, and we need to repeat that a few times.
Yes.
We also need to use the meta, right? The metadata. So we want to put in the transcript part of me. We want to transcribe the video itself. And then there's the thumbnail that we got to pay attention to as well.
Yes.
Making sure that we've got something engaging that people are actually going to look at. And then we can even measure, did that thumbnail work and did the content work through our click-through rate? Are actually people clicking on this to watch it?
Yep.
Did I summarize that?
You summarized that beautifully. And now the last piece I'll add on the thumbnail before we go on to AI is this. As you start to create videos, you'll get to 30 videos, 40 videos, et cetera. Then you'll have a body of work big enough where you can start to look at your own thumbnails and see which ones worked the best, which ones have the highest click-through rate. And what you want to do and is 2 things. Yeah. One is you take the ones that are working the best and you take the ones that are working the worst. Okay? And you want to analyze what they have in common with each other at both levels. Okay? And also sometimes what they have in common between the levels, because sometimes there are elements that work in both of them, and you throw out the good with what you think is on the bad stuff and then realize it was also in the good stuff too.
Okay, so no matter what then, once I have all that stuff and I know exactly what it takes to rank, the other thing I got to pay attention to is start to collect. I got to be consistent. I've got to execute consistently. I've got to put it out there consistently. Then I've got metrics to be able to track. Yeah. We talk about this with our coach clients all the time, having metrics, building data, and then be able to measure. And that doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't.
So in order to figure out whether your strategy is working, you've got to do it and do it and do it again. And then once you're 30 videos deep, maybe that's 30 days later, maybe that's 60 or 90 days later. Now you can go back and measure and start to compare your own videos from the best video to the worst video to say what worked and what didn't work and what can I tweak in my next 30 videos, and then go and measure again. And that's where you continue to grow, you continue to get better, and you probably start to rank higher.
Yeah. And to that point, David, I would say this to everyone listening as well. As I said, create the first 10 videos. Yep. Just stick your camera in front of your phone, upload, and just move on.
10 videos. That's your starting point.
Yeah. Don't worry about any of this other stuff.
Don't look at metrics.
Just do the first 10. Now, in terms of the metrics, so now after 10, start to do the optimization stuff that we've been talking about. Okay. Then I wouldn't even look at metrics until you get to about 30 videos.
Okay.
Okay. And you say 30, my gosh, I won't know. That's so long. Yeah. But what's going to end up happening is you're going to be reacting, and it's an experiment. Then you don't have enough data.
All right. So let me throw this one at you.
Yeah.
We're talking about like long form content on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
What kind of time, how long should these videos be? Because I'm thinking all shorts right now, but
Such a
this
great question,
description and the transcript and everything, that's not really about shorts. That's going to be a lot more about those educational
Long-form,
content videos you create. So give me time wise, long form videos considered what? 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 60 minutes?
So a long form video is anything over 59 seconds.
Long form videos, anything over 59 seconds. Okay.
In today's world, unfortunately, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
That is honestly the truth. Okay. Because shorts end at the 60-second mark. Like it has to be less than 60 seconds in order for it to be considered a short on YouTube.
Okay.
So anything over that is long form in terms of definition. Now, the bigger question is, how long do I need to talk? And the answer to that question
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
the answer to that question is as long as it takes to answer the question. So if the question is, what are the best neighborhoods to live in for a family in Etobicoke? Well, if there are only 2 neighborhoods, you're not going to talk about that for 30 minutes. If there are 50 neighborhoods, then you're going to talk about that for 30 minutes.
Here's another thing I'll add into that. When you're coming up with content, if you want to figure out how long it should be, make sure that you answer these 3 questions. What do I want them to know? Why should they care? And what action do I want them to take? Because now, once you tell them what you want them to know, you've done it. Now tell them why it matters to them. Once you tell them why it matters, tell them what to do about it, get in, get out. And now you've just hit them up with a very valuable piece of content.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great way of looking at it, David. Great way of looking at it. You know, and so don't get caught up in it's got to go for 5 minutes.
Right.
There's
no minimum time frame that your videos need to be. There's no maximum time frame they should be. Answer the question. Okay, I like it. So here, talk to me about AI. I know you're building a platform. I know there are platforms out there.
Yeah.
You know,
so even before our platform, so one of the things that we realized was a major missing piece. And so just to frame this for everyone who doesn't know as well, I started, if you will, in AI back in 1992. Okay. And it was called data analytics then. And so AI has been around since the 50s, y'all. It's not new. It's had a few different names over time, but we've been doing this and growing and building to this for a very, very, very long time. Okay. And so I started way back when, and we've used AI to some portion and degree ever since in everything that we've done.
Okay.
And so now let's talk about YouTube, and let's talk about video, and let's talk about Google, and let's talk about ranking for a moment. And so we are building an app that's going to help you with a lot of that stuff. But even before that, I started realizing people need to create content now. And people have real questions. They're going into ChatGPT, they're going into Bard and to other generators and trying to have them help them figure out how to create video content, and they're struggling.
And it's amazing too, because everybody is a ChatGPT expert these days. Everybody's leveraging that as let's go talk about it. And just as I'm doing that right now on this video, on this podcast, the reality is I'm not sitting here trying to teach you about ChatGPT. We're talking AI for a moment and how that plays into the grander scheme of your marketing and how well you build a lot of mindshare.
Yeah. And so what it does for you is it allows you to ideate faster. See, this is the key. This is the key. AI and AI tools, and that's the key word is tools, right? They speed up what you do. They don't replace what you do. I want you to hear that carefully, because there's so many people who are saying, okay, is the AI bots going to replace us? No, they're not. Or can I just get the AI to do everything for me? No, you can't. And
you shouldn't get AI to do everything for you, because the reality is if you get an AI to create your content, put your content out there for you, then you're putting your name on it. You're just slapping that out into the world and going, look what I created. somebody's going to call you out on it. Somebody's going to say to you or ask you a question about it, and then you're not going to know the answer to it because you leverage some machine to create it for you.
Exactly.
Credibility goes down the drain. And you talked about the know you, like you, trust you. You definitely don't build trust when you're talking about stuff you have no idea about.
Exactly. And so for us, we have, so there are two sides. There's ideation, and then there's also content creation when we're talking about marketing. Okay.
Yep.
Ideation is the ability to come up with new ideas and new perspectives on looking at the same thing, new ways of communicating the same message. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's ideation. AI helps you a ton with that. Open your eyes and your possibilities. The next side is the content creation. So we've ideated, now let's create some content. Here's the rule that we follow. No piece of content can be more than 40% AI. That means it's got to be at least 60% human.
So describe that for me in a video format. Like, for example, and I'll throw it out there and say, I got the podcast. Podcast is, let's say, an hour long. We could take the podcast, we could throw it into an AI tool, the video part of it, and it will literally chop up like 60 different videos of the podcast.
Yes. So those are utility tools.
Okay.
That we're going to come in and chop that up, right? Now, with what it produces there for you, you can still edit and make it better, right? You still are not going to take that and say, you know what? It's turned it into 30 different clips. I'm going to take all of them because not all of them are going to work.
Right.
Right. And so use the 40% of what it did was in creating the clip. The 60% of what you add on is which clips to use, which clips not to use, how to take this clip, and maybe there's an enhancement that needs to happen to this clip to make it even better than what the AI did. Okay? That's where the human side comes in. Now, for you out there saying, okay, I'm not even there yet. I'm just trying to create my first videos and know what to talk about. I got a topic from Google. Great. Go to an AI tool and you can ask it, hey, help me write an outline for a video. Right? It's going to write that outline for the video. And you're not going to just take that outline and say, okay, I'm just going to present just this, because guess what? It's going to miss points. It's going to add things in that you don't want to talk about. And so you then go in and tweak that outline. You go and add your 60% in there.
Do you think that AI is I guess going down at that road, I might look and say to myself, well, then I'm just going to keep the amazing team that I have as part of my crew here. I'm just going to send them the video and get them to work their magic using their brain power and their expertise to help us build a lot of mindshare, as opposed to plugging it into a machine, then having the machine spit out some stuff that I'm probably still not happy with. In this case, I know I have a real human being that's thinking, that's using their skills, that does an incredible job. Like, our team is awesome, and they put out wicked stuff on behalf of our brand. To me, the trust factor that I've got in my team to do that, I wouldn't trust a machine with that right now. And I would say to myself, I would say to everybody, I guess, like, any of the platforms I've used right now, to try to play with this stuff and just test it out from a video perspective, there's been nothing out there that's actually clipped the stuff that I want. And listen, you said it exactly. You got to go and filter now and figure out what works and what doesn't work and what needs to be, made better or adjusted or whatever. I don't even want to worry about that stuff. I just want to send it off to my team and let them do what they do, because they do awesome stuff.
So it goes both ways. I think it's an and, not an or.
Okay.
So let me give you a world. Let me give you a world of and. Okay. So your team knows you, knows your voice, knows your brand. Right? The challenge that often happens, and I know you face this, is we can also get very fixated and only see things in one way. Okay.
Fine. I like the argument already, man. You bang on. Yeah.
We miss stuff sometimes because we're used to only doing it this way and seeing it this way. One of the things that we do on that is, so we do splintering plans. We take a video, we'll do a splintering plan, and that's a human going in. The human uses AI in some ways to help it, but to create a plan of how we're going to cut this video up. Then we'll even take the video and drop it into one of those AI tools and say, hey, go cut it up and see what it comes out with, and then do a comparison.
Fair.
Right?
Fair.
And sometimes it finds an angle that we hadn't considered, or it gives us a different perspective on an angle that we already had.
Fair. Okay. I like it. It's a good point. It's a good point.
So, and that's why I say it can never replace. These are ands. These aren't ors.
Right. Okay. So now as we talk about the AI,
yeah,
you've given us the reason for why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And even what it's doing. Is there something we can do now specifically to leverage the AI for video to help us rank on page one? And I guess we probably answer that by saying, take it, put your data in there, see what it comes out with, see if it saw a different angle, and leverage that. Would it be safe to assume that no matter what the AI does, you still have to go back and leverage a lot of the things we talked about on how to rank on Google and YouTube, and you still got to put those into the video as it's being posted anyways?
Yeah, so we still have to do the style that we do. We can have AI help us generate. So here's how you can have AI help you generate. So we started off by saying, okay, after I take the questions that people already asked, now I'm going to put a couple keywords in and go and go that route, right? And do people also ask? We talked about keywords everywhere. All fantastic. Here's another thing that you can do. You can go to an AI tool like a ChatGPT and say, okay, here are my keywords. Give me keywords that are semantically, that's a keyword, semantically related. And ChatGPT will spit out a whole nother set of keywords that even Keywords Everywhere doesn't come up with. That you can then take and go and reiterate.
Create more content.
It's all right there. Okay. Now, get this. Get this. You can take your transcript of a video that you did, feed it into a tool like ChatGPT, say, hey, please, this was the transcript of a video I did. Please write an outline so that I know you understand all the main points. It will spit back out the outline. You say, yep, that outline looks like what I said. Now, please write an 800-word summary for me for my YouTube channel.
Amazing stuff. I think we've answered it, man. I mean, we could obviously talk for hours about this, and I know you've got stuff that you teach on this, and people can come and sign up for courses on this. Yeah. I guess on that note, I say, where can people find you?
So the easiest place to find me is meetatiba.com. That's meetatiba.com. That's going to take me take you, not me, take you straight to my LinkedIn page. Hey, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's have a real conversation, human to human.
Did we get that right? Meetatiba.com there?
You got it right.
Cool.
Okay. Connect with me there on LinkedIn. Send me a message. Let's talk. Tell me where you are. I want to hear where you are and how we can help you win with video and AI.
Love that, man. I want to encourage everybody to tune in and go back to this episode, tune into it, rewind, go back. There's some really amazing points for how to get your content ranked, how to put out content that matters to people. Go back and tune into this episode and make sure you're doing that. Also go to meetatiba.com, set up a call with this guy, easy to connect with, a wealth of information. Dude, I know there's so much more we can get into today. I do believe, though, in the time that we've spent, we have helped people truly, truly understand how to leverage video content and even come up with that video content, get comfortable on video. What do we need to know about YouTube? What do we need to know about Google? And then how do we take the content to help and even mold it together with the AI to help us rank on page one? And ultimately, why do we want to rank on page one? Hey, the higher you rank, the more you're seen, the more mind share you build, the more market share you get. So now let me ask you this before we take off.
Sure.
It's the end of the day for you. How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Wow. That's a really great question. There are two markers of success for me. The first marker of success for me, and the reason why I do a lot of what I do is my staff. I'm on a mission to help my staff change the trajectory of their lives and generations of their families through what we do and what we pay them. And so it's about who on the staff grew today? Who did we help grow today? That's number one. If I achieve that every single day, then I'm completely satisfied with the day, because I know it leads to number two, which is, which of our customers did we help? Because we only work with people who are experts in their field, people who are making a major difference in the lives of the people they're helping, their customers. And so when I know I've taken great care of my staff, it trickles to them taking great care of our customers, and then we've done great work.
You know, it's amazing. We ask people all the time at the end of the show, and I ask people randomly on a regular basis as well, like, how do you know it's been a successful day for you? And it is amazing how nobody ever talks about money. Everybody always comes back to this four-letter word of help. And it's wild because typically speaking, when you define success, you might define success as how much money did I make? How much money do I have? What am I able to buy? Do I look successful to other people? And boy, does social media ever help really amplify that message.
True.
Not in the positive. The reality, though, is anybody who's actually out there looking at success and defining success for themselves, it's always how do they help other people? Yeah. And so if we go out there on a regular basis and really, really have an idea of what can I do to help somebody else today? Even one person, maybe it's many people. And we've got that, you know, I'm sure many people get that, you know, view in their mind of like, you know, walking the little old lady across the street while she's carrying her groceries for her, like I'm helping somebody. Help can come in a number of different ways. But when you're out there thinking, how can I help other people? It's a really special thing, because now you're out there doing good for others. And when you're doing that genuinely, somehow in return, you get helped. So that's a cool answer. I like that one, man. Give us some final words of wisdom. What can everybody hear? I know we just talked a lot about today, building mindshare to get more market share. Any final words that you say to anybody about, you know, getting out there to do exactly that?
Yeah, real simple.
Yeah.
Make like a tennis shoe. Just do it.
No,
seriously. Go
Love
do
that,
it.
Man.
Like, no joke. Go do it. Hang up from this and go do it. And then go to meetatiba.com and tell me you did it. Like, seriously, go do it.
Well, you know, for everybody today, you know exactly why this guy and I get along, because I say the same thing. It's one thing for you to listen. It's another thing for you to implement. And once you implement it, you come and you tell me you implemented and that it worked. That for me is where I get super, super excited. Atiba, my man, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Mindshare podcast today, brother. Great to see you. Great to catch up with you, as it always is.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you very, very much for making the time, bro. This was an awesome episode.
All right, thank you. And thank you all for all being here with us, too. Appreciate y'all.
You're either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle, our 31-page ebook, including your free 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more mindshare so that you get more market share. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, prices will be going up on September 1st. Now, we do understand that August can be a busy personal time with family. And although now is the ideal time to get yourself prepped for your fall market, you do have an option to lock into current pricing right now, but schedule your first call for after your summer vacation. We've only got a few spots remaining, so don't wait. And if you're planning an upcoming event, inquire today about having me as your keynote speaker. We can also explore ongoing virtual training together. For all inquiries, just get in touch with us today. Don't forget to leave a review of this podcast at www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Connect with me on Facebook at mindshare101 and on Instagram at davidgreenspan101. I want to thank Kids Keep in Touch Systems and REM Magazine for sponsoring the Mindshare podcast. Be sure to visit our site to learn more about what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.